This fan works from a modified sine wave inverter, but listen to its motor. Now listen to the same fan on pure sine wave. The electrical bus disappeared, and an LED stopped visibly flickering. But the new inverter consumed almost 5 times more current with nothing connected. So this upgrade is not as simple as pure sine is better. This is the third upgrade to my small 12V solar board. In the previous episode, I replaced the basic PWM charge controller with an MPPT controller. This time, I'm upgrading the AC side by replacing the 300W modified sine wave inverter with a 400W pure sine wave model. But I do not want to assume that the more expensive inverter is automatically better. Before removing the old one, I'll measure its no-load consumption and AC voltage. Then I'll test 3 real loads: a fan, an LED bulb, and a phone charger. After the swap, I'll repeat the same tests and compare what actually changed. First, the old inverter at idle. With no AC load connected, it drew approximately 0.21 amps from the 12V side, at a measured battery voltage of about 12.27 volts. That's roughly 2.6 watts of input power. The AC output measured 223.5 volts, so the voltage itself looked completely reasonable. The real question was how different types of loads would respond to the stepped waveform. The first load is this basic AC fan. It started and reached normal speed, so the modified sine wave inverter was not preventing it from working. But the motor produced a strong electrical buzz that was clearly different from the normal sound of moving air. With the fan running, total DC input current stabilized at about 2.63 amps. I'll use the same fan and the same speed setting after the upgrade. The second load is an LED bulb. Again, it switched on and produced plenty of light, but the camera showed visible flicker. This doesn't mean every LED driver will behave the same way. It only shows how this particular bulb responded to this inverter. Total input current was 1.2 amps. The flicker, not the current reading, was the main problem I wanted the pure sine inverter to solve. The phone charger also operated normally, but I could hear a slight buzz when standing next to it. The camera microphone barely captured it, so I cannot present the recording as strong audio proof. It is still useful as a real-world observation. After the baseline tests, I disconnected the AC load and switched off the inverter and DC breakers. The meter still showed 2.42 volts after isolation, so I did not read the switch position alone as proof of zero voltage. The old inverter is rated at 300 watts. The replacement is a physically larger 400 watt unit labeled as a pure sine wave. Its waveform should be much closer to normal grid power, which is generally easier for motors, transformers, and some electronic power supplies to handle. But the label does not tell us its idle loss, real efficiency, or how it behaves with these particular loads. This is why the before and after measurement matters more than the words printed on the case. With the battery side isolated and the inverter switched off, I removed the DC leads and mounting screws from the old unit. The new inverter was longer, so the existing mounting points could not be reused. I placed it where the terminals would remain accessible, marked the new holes, and drilled the board. Before installing any electronics, I removed the drilling debris. Conductive or loose material around electrical equipment is an unnecessary risk. I then secured the inverter, routed short DC leads, and reconnected positive and negative with the inverter still switched off. This is a low voltage system, but a battery can deliver extremely high fault current, so correct polarity, secure connections, and suitable overcurrent protection still matter. This is the completed board with the pure sine wave inverter installed. The existing MPPT controller, breakers, and DC bus bars remain in place, only the inverter and its mounting position changed. For the first start, there was nothing connected to the DC outlet. I switched on the DC side and then the inverter. It started normally, so I could repeat the no-load measurements before connecting any appliances. The AC output measured 221.1 volts, very close to the 223.5 volts from the old inverter. Battery voltage at the inverter terminals was 12.4 volts, but the idle current was approximately 0.97 amps, with nearby frames fluctuating around 1 amp. That corresponds to roughly 12 watts of DC input power with no AC load, about 4.6 times measured idle current of the old inverter. The output waveform may be cleaner, but keeping this inverter switched on all day could carry a much larger energy penalty. The same fan started normally, but this time the previous electrical bus was no longer present. The ordinary mechanical sound of the fan remained, of course, but the difference in the motor noise was easy to hear. Battery voltage was 12.23 volts and total input current was approximately 3.16 amps. That is higher than the old reading of 2.63 amps, although part of the difference is the much larger idle consumption of the new inverter. Here is the direct sound comparison once more. The LED test produced the clearest visual improvement. With the pure sine inverter, the same bulb no longer showed the obvious flicker visible in the first test. I did not record this with locked exposure, a light meter or a laboratory flicker sensor, so I will not call it completely flicker-free. The accurate conclusion is simple that no obvious flicker was observed in the new recording. Total input current was about 1.8 amps compared with 1.2 amps before. Finally, the same phone charger no longer produced the slight buzz I had noticed on the modified sine wave. The pure sine test measured 12.27 volts and approximately 2.16 amps total input current. I did not record a comparable current value for the charger with the old inverter, so this test only supports a behavior and noise comparison. It cannot tell us which inverter powered the charger more efficiently. A modified sine wave does not follow a smooth curve. It switches the voltage in large steps. A typical multimeter can still show a normal-looking RMS voltage, but motors, transformers and some electronic drivers may respond to the sharp transitions with vibration, extra noise, flicker or heat. A pure sine inverter creates a smoother waveform that is closer to utility power. That explains why these loads behaved more normally. But generating that waveform does not guarantee low standby consumption or high efficiency at every load. Waveform quality and efficiency are separate design characteristics. The upgrade clearly improved compatibility. No previous fan buzz, no obvious LED flicker and no charger buzz observed. The trade-off is idle consumption, about 12 watts instead of 2.6. Left on the 24 hours with no load, that is roughly 228 watts hours instead of 62. For this board, pure sine is worth having when AC power is needed, but I will switch it off when it is not. What load should I test next? The inverter is now pure sine, but these exposed breakers are still next. In the next episode, all of this gets rebuilt.